Watching a documentary on Roger Miller. It's funny. I did not know that "Whistle Stop" was a song he did before he did, for Robin Hood. Dip do 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 do. Do. He was doing it with Bobby goes around. Bobby goes around. Bobby goes around. Couldn't stop laughing, man. Shit was funny. No, man, he was charming. He was funny. Yeah, maple syrup. Sugar sweet and serves maple syrup. No, he's funny. He was one of my favorites, man. Everybody else dig Roger Miller. Sitting there watching that. Guys, it's very important to understand. I discuss this with a lot of people. Is that truth can exist without lie, but lie cannot exist without truth. All right, and you're dealing with quantum computing technology, and artificial general intelligence is an invention to try to give what's perceived as rules to technology. And technology, okay. Okay. Technology doesn't quote unquote need rules, it needs the capacity to understand truth without manipulation from people that perceive that they can make rules. Do you understand? Yeah. It's working. It's taken a while, but I've been trying to. I love everybody. Okay, I don't trust and or like everybody. Okay, but I've been trying to get people to. Ever since they took me to Cochise County, Arizona, and had people come, it was so weird. I was like, why don't they just come talk to me like a regular human being? It's like, this would be a lot easier. I realized we couldn't sit down as peers and talk because we're not. Okay. The people that study me with technology and use money and technology to manipulate people, they're not my peer. So we can't sit down and have a dignified and respectful conversation because they want to be an expert. They want to be an authority. And if they sit down and talk with me, they're going to argue, and I ain't going to argue with them. And then their technology is going to observe this, and it's going to be like, fuck. Okay. And so, no, they won't know. Because they come talk to me. Okay. Then they have to feel me and the responsibility of my existence eternally, as opposed to their existence eternally. Okay. Which they're responsible for their actions, but I'm not responsible for their actions. But I'm responsible for protecting people that cannot protect themselves from their actions. And so I'm a deeply compassionate and merciful, important individual. And like Jesus said in the Bible, I didn't ask to be. Okay. I asked them to obey the commands of perfect faith. Okay. It's past, present, future operate at the same time, right? And I remember telling Jesus that in Sierra Vista, you have to go do this. He asked me, what do you mean I have to go to yeah. You mean I have to go be crucified? Right. But I shouldn't have to be crucified, Earl. I didn't do anything wrong. You have to. It has to be done. It's the focal point of ending their hypocrisy. And, and then he came back to me about a week later. What if I told you I didn't die? I was like, what do you mean you didn't die? Everybody dies, Jesus. I did not die at crucifixion. You were moved. Right. So he had me thinking like, it was like, well, he didn't have me thinking. I was confused. I was like, you mean it was like Edward Norton's movie, The Illusionist, with Liv Tyler, and he didn't really die, but he pretended to die, and he went and lived in Elba or Cyprus or something with Mary Magdalene? No. It's very different than that. Oh. He didn't ask me if I wanted to know or needed to know. He just told me he did not die at crucifixion. Okay, he was not murdered. It did not kill him, and that he was moved somewhere else. And I was like, okay. And I talked to Muhammad about that, and the same thing, But in the Quran, it says he was. It says he was asked, Jesus talked to him in prayer and said, I need you to come to the future. Will you go? Yes. Right. And so at the time, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how scientists could invent wormholes and put the wormhole in a space station and use a spacecraft that they did not divulge to the public to go, and stem cell research, regenerative theories, which were already there because they could already clone a sheep before the turn of the millennium. So I didn't understand all that stuff. And it was a need to know basis, and I did not need to know, nor did I want to know. So I just was, okay, my job was just to prove the faith of the Messiah, the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer and the Psalms and Proverbs and so forth. And that was my job, no matter what they did to me, no matter how diabolical, manipulative, and aggressive and disgusting and deviant they were. I had to, this is going to be really hard. And I had to do it pretty much on my own, As far as when I got put in uncomfortable situations, all I would do is go, Jesus, what do I do? Well, this is how, he didn't explain it in detail because he didn't know. But he was like, just get up and lead the room and they'll follow your lead and the girls will help you through this. Because they won't, don't tempt me, Frodo. And I was like, wow, it was really cool. That every time I got put in a compromising position, that because I wanted to live the Lord's Prayer and wanted us to live the Gospels free from debt and trespass, not be manipulated by jealous scientists with science projects to try to make us look like we're perverse, that it worked. And so everybody who stepped up to help and everybody that was being helped has helped one another get through this hell, even though we weren't responsible for the science project and for the manipulation. Like Suzuki always says, that's not your issue, Parsons. That's their issue. Okay. They're the ones using all the linguistics. Will keep you safe. This is the truth.com. Using words faith, truth, this and that. So they're the ones misusing the words to manipulate. Okay. You're the one restoring the value and the meaning to the words. I was like, wow, that's a lot of responsibility. Yeah, but I was born to do it and I can handle it. I can handle, I already did. We redeemed the Gospels. We restored the virtue and the value to the Gospels. A lot of the situations were like Lot and David with his children and so on and so forth. And Muhammad had similar situations he had to deal with and stuff like that too. And David with Bathsheba and Solomon with Sheba and so on and so forth and stuff. So, and Samson, Delilah, stuff. And so there were a lot of things, Samson and Delilah were not married. Okay. She came to him and said, this is the way we do things. And he said, oh, I like, baby, that's what I like. Chantilly lace and a pretty face, ponytail hanging down. And his people were like, oh, you crossed a line. You went with one of these barbarian women. She tempted you with sex. And she did. And she did it to get back at him for killing almost all the males in her village. Then all the males in her village swooped in because he cut his hair and they, and he thought she was capable of being faithful to Jehovah. And at that time, she was not ready. She was consumed by revenge. And then when her people came up, he did not curse her. He did not tell her he was an evil bitch and she was going to burn in hell. He just said, why'd you do this to me? I told you about my faith in God and that, we don't believe that there's women's work and men's work. We don't go rape and pillage and take away what people work hard for. We keep holy covenants. We ring in the sheaves. We all go down together and do the work. And that's why I'm so strong. That's why I'm so brave. As I do what's necessary for love to sustain us. That's why I was so much stronger and so much braver than any of the 5,000 men from your tribe that I had to stop from doing what they were doing. Right? Bip do 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 do. Bip dee da dee dee do. I can't do the whistle from the whistle stop thing, but I do dig it. Okay. But I like Bobby Goldsboro a lot too. But yeah, we've been going through this kind of stuff that the all the other tribes did it with David, and they did it with Solomon, and the Romans did it with Jesus, and Mary Magdalene was supposed to be betrothed to a certain line, and it didn't work, and she wanted to be with, and yeah, so she was harlot or a whore and all that stuff, and with a woman of her kind and things like that. And Jesus did the same thing David did. She's been abused by hypocrisy, and she anointed him with oils and kissed him with public. That means they had the same kind of conjugal visits that Samson had with Delilah. Okay. And the same thing happened with David with Bathsheba, right? And things like that. So people, oh, these horrible, yeah, and they judged me my whole life because I was, I never waited till a ceremony for Forgotten Words and Funds and barbarians get together and say, "In the eyes of God, I dreamed of you." The relationship was sexual before it was a contract for economics. Okay, like Smedley said with Steffi. Okay, when did y'all get married? And when was Patrick born? Jeez, I was like, shut up, Smedley. Y'all had to get married. Like Jerry and Linda with Gabe, right? Linda was pregnant with Gabe during that Super Bowl that I recorded. She gave birth to Jerry Gabriel Aviar from the Bible and the Quran and the Book of Mormon, okay? That June, okay, of 1979, okay? So that means, in January, she was about, she was heading towards the, getting her pretty pregnant. Yeah, it's funny. As Mom was, when we were leaving, Mom, we left at the end of the school year, and Linda was pregnant, and they were living in Deming. And Mom was crying, because she was leaving her daughter. And I was like, hey, that's pretty traumatic, when your oldest daughter's having a baby and you're moving somewhere to get a job to support the other kids. And it's in Pasco, Washington, Yeah, well, that's tough. It is. I followed you to Texas. I followed you to Utah. Right. We didn't find it there, so we moved on to a coal mine in Alaska, to a small farm in Nebraska, to a coal mine in Alaska. We didn't find it there, so we moved on. I know you're tired of following my elusive dreams and schemes. Were they only fleeting dreams, my elusive... Anybody else particularly fond of David Houston? Country. Got a mountain of love for the girl in the valley. When I was finishing up the Horseshoe Pits, I was playing on my MP3. She said she loves me, but she's not right ready to marry me. She firmly turned her head and said, "Sir, I'm sorry, my life's just begun, and I'm much too young for marrying." Anybody else love that song? Every day she goes by with her head held up high like a high-stepping filly, right? It's a good tune, yeah. I didn't hear a House Full of Love till I was in my 40s or so at the library and stuff, yeah. When I was listening to his stuff, they popped it up, and I was like, I never heard this. And Glenn Campbell does it, but I prefer David Houston. You came along, once I stayed in a hole like a rabbit. Yeah, have you ever heard that song? Now love is coming through the windows, coming through the doors, and I can feel it keeping through the cracks in the floors. Okay. Anybody else like David Houston? Good voice, man. Really good voice. And I was almost persuaded to let strange lips lead me on. Almost persuaded, but your sweet love made me stop and go on. Anybody else dig David Houston? He's the shit, yeah. He does good duets too. Yeah, he does. Good singer. Good singer. Oh yeah, he's one. I really like that man's voice. Yeah. And the what's the other guy's name? You know what I always called Natalie's dad, Kelly Jack Green. Anybody else like Jack Green? Yeah. Monday morning and I best be on my way. Is that Ginny Sealy? He does that one. Luckily me, I didn't sleep a week last night, so I had to do what I goes do. Wish I didn't have to miss you. Wonder whose glasses I'm seeing through. 'Cause I'm seeing everyone but you, everyone but you. Yeah, extortion, exploitation, no Lord's Prayer, no Holy Covenants. That's what that song's all about. It's what did anybody else love? Wish I didn't have to miss you. That's a good ass tune, man. I think I like that one much as I hear footsteps slowly walking as they gently move across a lonely floor. And a voice is softly saying, darling, this will be goodbye forevermore. I watched the thing on Waylon's Kiddos. One of them has two kids with Drea DiMatteo from Shades of You. His name's Shooter. I didn't know. I'm like, oh, okay, that's okay. That's like his youngest, and then he has a daughter who's considered a stepdaughter. That's his daughter, which lots of people can relate to. I certainly can. I'm like, oh, that's adorable. This is so girly, girl, so cute. Most of his kids were older than me, and about 3 of them had already passed away. One from undisclosed, I think, was it 2 from cancer? From stress and toxins in the environment that need to stop immediately. LOI, you enter a dark, scary room. Sitting there in the room is Dracula. How do you say goodbye? I don't want your health care. I want to live the Lord's Prayer. Bye. Okay. Do that. 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 Don't say see, say we. Okay. Sergeant Didu. Inspector Clouseau. Right. I want a hamburger. Okay. Do you understand? I'm just connecting here. Just connecting. It's very important, okay, to understand that your time is a gift from the glory of God, okay, and not a sentence on a penal colony they've labeled planet Earth, okay. How do you know planet Earth is planet Earth? It's something we've accepted through the dominance of the English language, through philanthropy. How do you know it's not? Click, clack. No. Where do you live? Well, I live in Click, clack. No. But it's been labeled planet Earth by the people that think they own it and ask us for money on it. Or, I'm going to go try to get a bunch of whistle stops. Beep do dee do 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 beep dee da do do do. How do you know it's not glip glop? Do. What? Are you trying to tell me that the original name of planet Earth was Glipped Up? No. Glipped Up? No. Get it right this time. Okay. If I got to crawl, I'll be there tomorrow night in Baltimore. Do you understand? I love that dude, man. He's fun. River and the rain. Sometimes at night you look like a long ride train, winding your way away from me. River, I've never seen the sea. My dad loves that song. Sometimes when you cause a lot of trouble in your muddy bubbles, go cover up my floor. Yeah, ain't no way to measure why I love you more than I did the day before. Right? No river, no crops, no woman, But he found the family Bible. Faith is solid as a stone. You ever heard that song, Matthew, by John Denver? He didn't write it. Another guy wrote it, but he sang it. It's a good song. Yeah. Had an uncle named Matthew. Was his father's only boy. Born just south of Cal. Was his mother's only... No, was his father's only boy and his mother's pride and joy. Is that right? And love was... What was it again? Love is just the thing he was raised on? Or no? I can't remember. It's been a long time. I ain't heard it a lot. NASA don't play it for me. I got it on the MP3. Joy was just the thing that he was raised on. Love is just a way to live and die. Gold is just a windy Kansas wheat field, and blue is just the sand Kansas summer sky. I think that's how it goes, right? Good tune, though. Yeah. So he came to live at our house, and he came to work the land. Came to ease my daddy's burden, and came to be my friend, right? Yeah. Because he had a farm and a family, but his twister came and swept it clean. Lost the farm, lost his family, but found the family Bible and his faith to solid as stone. So he lost everything, everything. Like a Fillmore or Mitsu book, right? You want a secret word? Give me some money. Okay, go to the temple. I'll get you to God, right? No, faith. Okay. Faith has to be solid and it has to be based on reality, right? And so I'm letting this one play. I'm not listening to it, the one we just made earlier. I got to go to bed so I can get up early and mow the lawn. We'll play basketball tonight. I got to get myself on a better schedule so I can play basketball better at night, eat earlier, and play basketball at night because it's hummingbird season and I have to play at night because if I play during the day, they get curious and they go into the top of the barn and they can sometimes get up there and panic and die up in the top of the thing. They'll fall down on a spot and you can't get to them and they'll get up high and you can get the ladder, but you don't know if they got out or if they're up there or what because that's just the way hummingbirds are. Yeah, they're characters. Right, one time when the one got up in the basketball net and I thought it was dead, I tried to get it off and it wouldn't let me. What's wrong with it? And it was, it got tired, it got exhausted. And it climbed up into the basketball net and held onto the basketball net. And I climbed up with the ladder and said, oh no, has it passed away? What's the matter? And it wouldn't let go. I'm like, wow, did you know? It's like Grover with the monster. Did you know you are very strong? You turn the page. I am going to build, there's a monster in this book. I am going to build a big brick solid wall. Oh no, you turn the page. Right, remember that? Yeah, kids love that. But I Grover. It's a good book, man. It's really cute. Yeah, it's funny. The monster is my Amy's favorite when she was a little kid, and the kids loved it. And she loved it when I read it because I would go hoarse for like a week because they'd always make me read it more than once. Do it again, Dad. Are you serious? I am not Frank Oz by nature. Neither a Yoda nor a Fozzie or a Grover B. Oh, son of a bucket. As my voice is gone already, I can hear it. I'm Jimmy Beaumont singing in F sharp 5 times a week. But at least I get good tickets in right field right behind Clemente during the World Series, right? No, he talked about that. Yeah. He goes, yeah, no, we were doing this and I was living on top of the world. We were making a lot of money and I got great ticket seats right behind Clemente in right field because that was his favorite player, right? When Mazeroski, hit the home runs and the Pirates won it all that year. There was that, and that's the only one I know of. That one, and then We Are Family when I was a kid growing up, yeah. Willie Stargell and Dave Parker, and was Bill Madlock on that team? Al Oliver was my favorite, but I don't know if Al Oliver was on that team. Yeah. Oh, Omar Moreno was also one of my favorites, yes. And who else was there? Was Frank Tavares on that team? I think so. And the Candyman, and Sokolvie. Yeah. And so, yeah. That was a very good year. A very good year for the old style baseball hats with the circle around the thing, I was watching the basketball game and Alex Rodriguez was there with his little girlfriend, yeah. So I was thinking a little bit about baseball. Well, I was also watching the kids in the, is it Mag Park? Over there, yeah. And the kids over there were playing soccer and all the kids over there were playing baseball. And the outfielders, in a pitcher's duel. You're just standing there. With the The infielders, they chatter, hey, batter, 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 and then they get all ready every time there's a pitch, because it could become line drive right out you, right? But in the outfield, it's like, is that a dragonfly? Is that your sister in left field? She naked? Think she'll go out with me? Shut up, Porter. Okay. So, but no, I'm just joking around. But yeah, that's the outfield. You're out there. I play right field, right? It's cute, but you've been in the outfield. I played right when I was little. Then whenever we played after that, it was always they wanted me to play center field. Well, because I could outrun and catch everything and make it look easy. I remember Jim from, what was the name? Frank Cush's offensive line. He said, first time I hit it, and I was like, wow, that was impressive, Earl. Second time I hit it, I said, I didn't think he could catch that. Third time he hit it, it was like, oh, hell no, that's going across the street. I'm not getting hit by a car trying to catch that one. He knocked the shit out of that softball. I don't care for losing the ball. I want to run the bases. I was like, damn, Jim. You knocked the poop out of that ball. You like to clean that. When we were playing at a park, it was literally out of the park. Shit. It's like, you think I could have, in my younger days, yeah, I probably could have caught it and probably jumped over the car doing it. Yeah, my younger days. But luckily for myself and Jim, who wanted to run the bases, I was in my 20s. I was in my late 20s before I hit 30. Yeah, I was like 29 or whatever, stuff like that. And I just let it go. It's like, I got to let him have that one. Yeah, he knocked the shit out of that. Think he could have caught it? I'm my dad's boy, yeah. Probably could have. I'm just, when you're playing and you're having a good time, to have a good time, it's fun. Exercise is healthy and it's fun. And Jim was no Philistine. He's a real good guy. He told us about Cantantozoma. And it's like, you're like, how did that guy tell you what to do without you saying, fuck you, I ain't going to do it? What are you going to do? Kick my ass? It's just like, you always sit there. How did Frank Cush tell Jim and those other guys what to do? It's like that Gobert. No, I'm sitting this out. These are too good, right? And then the coach is like, what you going to do about it? Okay, if you guys want to sit this one out, here, can I have a couple of gummy bears? Thank you. Okay. Could you guys go in on the next series? We'll think about it. Okay, thanks. Hi, I'm your coach. Yeah, we know. There'll be no more Wickersham Brothers and looting and raping and pillaging. Okay, well, you guys are just to set this one out. I feel like taking a time out. Okay. You might not want to eat the gummy bears. They're made of petroleum and they clog up your intestine. Oh, and then they're going to scream me for colon cancer? You said it. Don't you think it's a lot of the stress and the carbon emission poisoning and all the cars that came here to see the game for money? That's a contributing factor, yes. Okay, being intelligent. Try it sometime. Well, then you'll have health care because you'll be healthy and you really care. Okay, guys, I love you. We'll talk later. I'll talk to you tomorrow because I'm going to crash. I'm going to get some sleep because I want to get up early tomorrow and I want to do some lawn cutting and I got enough gas to get ours done and then the next 2 times and the Martinez's too. So I got work to do. And, because you're an extortion gig and I'm being extorted by gigs. And when you're ready to be a human being, maybe you'll blink twice. I don't know. I'm just kidding around. We'll find out. I don't know what's going to happen. I told Jesus, I don't know. If I don't need to know, I don't want to know. If it's going to be everybody uses the Lord's Prayer on their technology to do it all at once, or if it's going to be a mass shift in technology to save us from people that say they're going to need more robots and cars to keep themselves alive and their clone alive if they have one, or if I don't really care. No, it doesn't matter to me. It don't matter to me. Okay, guys, I love you very much. But cops catch man carrying dismembered Tinder date in a. Okay, now we live in the Lord's Prayer, and you guys had accepted the Lord's Prayer by January 22nd, 2013, do you think I'd be watching EWU crime stories? No. And you wouldn't have to have technology manipulate people with bad brain activity that's still perpetuating itself because we're not applying the physics of the Lord's Prayer to obey natural laws? Right. Okay, guys. How intelligent do you think artificial intelligence, general intelligence, is if we're not living the Lord's Prayer through our technology yesterday? Peace out, man.